A very good morning to you, and begin by informing you that the federal government has suspended its proposed excise duty for the digital economy sector, with the Minister of Communications and Digital Economy, Professor Isa Ali Pantami, saying this will save the sector from being overburdened and prevent increase in call and data tariffs.
3 years and counting, the ICT sector has been setting new records on its contributions to the nation's GDP. In 2020, it was 14.07%, 2021, 17.92%, and currently 18.44%. The ICT sector has held its turf, not bowing to pressure, but maintaining stable prices when other sectors are buckling under the weight of production costs and hiking prices of goods and services. The latest proposal to introduce excise duty on the sector, the telecommunications subsector in particular, that is meant to pay 5% excise duty on both prepaid and postpaid services, which would have started from the 1st of June 2022, is what the Minister of Communications and Digital Economy has, however, reason to defend. Communicating our letter to that effect to President Muhammadu Buhari.
I rejected that wholeheartedly. Other sectors where we are recording sometimes even minus, government did not stop the subsidy, but going to other sectors where we currently have 41 different types of tax being collected at the federal and state level. That attempt will destroy the sector because the economic situation in Nigeria doesn't allow us to continue to add more burden on our poor citizens. It is because of this Mr. President has immediately approved the immediate suspension of excise duty in the digital economy sector.
So, a presidential committee that will study the situation and advise the president accordingly has been inaugurated.
Thank you, Chimdema. The World Bank says growth in remittances to Nigeria and other emerging markets is supported by strong economic activities in Europe and the United States. It said last year remittance inflows to Nigeria and other sub-Saharan Africa countries soared 14.1% to $49 billion, following an 8.1% decline in the prior year. The World Bank's latest migration and development brief noted that recorded inflows showed that Nigeria was the largest recipient country in the region. The country gained 11.2% in part due to policies intended to channel inflows through the banking system. And on that note, let's see the official exchange rate. The federal government has challenged all relevant agencies on the need to ensure quality and standard of all agricultural produce before exports. Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development Mohammed Mahmoud Abubakar said Nigeria is losing her ground as the largest producer of agricultural produce in Africa. He said Nigeria has no reason to be backward in terms of marketing and export of beans, being the largest producer in the world.
There's no doubt that Nigeria cannot realize its potential unless we do the right thing, work together first of all, and also realize and understand dealing with other agencies, private sector, government across the world. It's not an easy task. Doing an export business, there are so many regulations. And unless you start by putting your own home well, you will not be able to work with other people outside. So we commend our development partners who have supported the SIMTC to produce the integrated export control plan, of course being a key requirement from our European partners in lifting ban imposed on our beans and all this and that since 2016. All the MDAs that are involved in export have different ways of operating, but if we want to make headway, we must come down and learn to work with one another.
And of course, we here are interested in seeing that the House is put in order to adequately tap into that export space. And so to take this conversation further on issues around the EU ban on Nigerian beans is Shitu Mohammed. He is the current president, Cowpea Farmers and Marketers of Nigeria, and also a member of the Interministerial Committee on Zero Rejection. You're welcome to Business Express, Mr. Shitu.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. Now we're having to hear that since about 2016, there's been an active ban on Nigerian beans from the EU. What exactly are the issues before these commodity exporters and farmers in Nigeria? I mean, it's a lot of years, we'll say.
Yes, thank you. The ban started in 2015.
Okay.
They gave us 2 to 3 years. And what is the matter is that Nigerian being the largest producer or farmer of beans, cowpea in particular, the residuals that they find in our beans, that is the diclovos pesticide that we apply. In the world standard, it is about 0.1% that is accepted, but in Nigeria you find out that we have over 4.6 kilogram in a kilogram of beans, and because of that they put this ban, because these are what causes a lot of diseases, diarrhea,
sometimes you hear people just eat beans and die.
Yes, because of the pesticide, because of diclovos that is applied. And so by 2018 they're supposed to lift the ban. They still find out that we've not been able to comply, but we all put our head together, the farmers, NAFDAC and NOA and other group, and we found out that the best way to go about it is to put up standardization document with which it will guide our agricultural produce, not only beans, with all other prunes. And where these problems are coming from is that we now look at it especially from the cultivation then to the storage. In the storage, when you are storing beans, you know, some people put a lot of maybe these chemicals that are not the diclovos, and then something like if it's snipers, some people add. So all these we have to enlighten Nigerians to be able to know that they are dangerous to health.
Okay, please, if I can just come in here before you, sorry, let me just pause you a bit. We find weevils in beans and other insects in beans when you keep them for some time, and the argument has always been that you would have to use chemicals to preserve the beans. What are the acceptable preservation methods that are available to us in Nigeria presently?
For us now, with technology improve a lot of things. We find a new bag with which if you put these beans, you store the beans with the bags, there will be no any insect or something that will enter it.
Yeah, that's breaking news to me.
Yeah, there's a bug now. And then we also find that there are ways that you put your storage that even in a local manner in which this insect could not penetrate into your beans. So with this new technological advancement, we start enlightening our farmers, and then we are looking at it that we put them in clusters. Because when you put them in clusters for the next 2-3 years, you look at it that you can now teach them the best agricultural practice. That's from the cultivation, how do you cultivate, how do you store, and then we find out that even the trailers with which we transport our agricultural product, sometimes you transport animals or you transport some chemicals, then you take the same trailer without cleaning the trailer,
or perhaps transport them together.
Then it affects the food. So all these measures have been taken, and then we also, from the document we have now, you have international standard organization like ISO, you have our Nigerian standard organization, you have our NAFDAC, which are going to also, in fact, and the agricultural quarantine services are all coming on board to be able to examine and look at the product that you are taking out. Unlike before, that a trader just go to the port and transport those goods and ship them out of Nigeria. Now it has to go through standardization. All these agencies have to look at it, and then they know where those products are coming from, who has the product, and then if anything go wrong, you know that it could be punished. And then you know there's no system that if you have reward, you must also have punishment. So and then people know that they will be punished for misconduct or not practicing agricultural practices in a way that it will help the health of the country and the people. Then we will take them. So people will comply. And as soon as they comply, as soon as we know who bring the social beans, we know where it might from. If it is from Kafanchan, we know that it's from Kafanchan.
Where is it, my Kafanchan?
If it's from Maiduguri, we know that it comes from Maiduguri. If it comes from Oyo, we know it comes. So we know particular farm that is coming. And that is why we, the farmers, are now organizing ourselves now into clusters, so that in the next 2-3 years, we teach our farmers.
But there's a whole lot of people who are not in this organized farming sector. How do you get them into the system?
That's why I'm here.
Okay.
Talking to Nigerians, let them get in our way. Now I'm telling you about a new bag that I just come out, that you don't need to waste your time in the storage of your beans or other product, and so also other sector like yam and co. So the enlightenment is very, very important. Education, we go to town hall, we go to villages, we cluster the farmers. All these are information emanation. They will be going out and everybody will start getting, because now beans is something that will give Nigeria a lot of income. And so we must be serious about it.
So like how much are we losing now that that market space is closed for us?
Because at least we expect to produce nothing less than 4 to 10 million tons. And maybe we are having only by 1 million now. So you can see what we are losing. We are losing billions of dollars of income. And then many of us that import at earlier stage of the ban lost a lot of money, and even to individual and to the nation, because whenever you use this money, you put it into this business and you export it, and then in fact in some countries you are also even asked to pay for damaging the beans. You have to pay. So it's fine, they fine. And then the name of the country, and even the local consumption, we have not been able to meet up. In fact, sometimes you have to go to Niger, to bring in beans to be able to feed the country. And so we definitely, as a farmer, it's time for us to gear up, put our house in order, and that's why we are talking about this cluster farming.
Okay.
Promote best practice agricultural practice system.
Okay. In putting the house in order, zero rejection That report, can you just also enlighten us on what it means?
Well, it's for us now to improve internally, and that is why we bring all these agencies and now putting standardization of our product and making sure that we have in ISO, we have a Nigerian standard organization, we have other relevant like the agricultural quarantine, that before you export, it gets some labs, it gets to some standardization. They look at your product. Then, unlike before, that you just move into a port, ship your good on your own, you are no more on your own. The country is now with this document. The country stand by you as an exporter and then monitor you as an exporter and monitor the product.
Okay, so where is the starting point for an exporter?
The starting point is for you to get to this standardization. First of all, as a farmer, we are starting by clustering them. So we know that whatever come out of each farm that we cluster is up to the standard. And then secondly, you now involve NAFDAC, you involve ISO, then ISO, then international organizations, standard organizations that will also engage, that will certify your goods.
So that certification is actually very, very necessary.
Very, very
in fact, I would say that's just the gateway.
The gateway
Yes.
certification, because when you are certified, they know you. They know, and then international community know those organizations that certify you. So our goods can now compete favorably with other international goods.
Okay, I must sincerely thank you, Mr. Kabir Shitu, for taking time to throw light on the issues, and we hope that in the very, very short time we'll see Nigerian beans or cowpea back there in that space.
Thank you.
Thank you
That's our
for
prayer.
Yeah, thank you for coming on the program. We move on now. Nigeria's cocoa exports to boost non-oil revenues. What is the price of oil and other commodities on the global commodities market? Let's find out. British and US oil futures diverged on Tuesday after the OPEC Plus said it will trim levels to offset drop in prices amid fears of slowing demand and economic growth. London traded Brent oil futures fell 0.1% to $95.12 a barrel, while US West Texas Intermediate futures jumped 2.2% to $88.75 a barrel. Both contracts surged nearly 3% on Monday.
Surviving COVID-19 series is brought to you in partnership with the Central Bank of Nigeria.
My name is Akimili Oluwatoyin Deborah. I'm a caterer. Yes, when I finished my service, I found myself catering for people's events and small birthday parties. I actually started like 4 years ago when I was in school. During that long period of break, during that strike period, I said, let me go and learn something with my hands so that I'm not going to be sitting down at home doing nothing. So I went into catering. When I first started initially, business was not that nice, but at some point it came out okay before the COVID-19, because I was beginning to gain grounds in the market. People were beginning to know what I do. People were beginning to come to me to like, okay, do this for me. I want to clear for my child's birthday. I have a small event, a business meeting. So I was actually having contracts to do then before the COVID-19. During COVID-19, my business just went down like drastically. like getting one cake to even do for a customer or a client was very, very difficult at some point, and even like it didn't give me room to get new customers because of that COVID-19. So I was able to like break out to the markets the way I wanted to break out, and then the goals I set for myself to I want to accomplish this before this so and so time. I couldn't do it again because of this COVID. During the COVID-19 period, the way I scaled through was through online marketing. Although I don't have fun to like pushing it very well to the crowd, but I was basically posting daily online. I had the market online, and then people that actually tested my product to give me good reviews online. So it was during that period, at least it actually allowed me to learn something. That you can actually post and advertise yourself online. Don't make a video, skits and everything, just showcase your talents online. And so I actually dwelled in that place. I used that place as my own strength to at least to survive that period. I heard about the Surviving COVID-19 fund, but when my friend told me about the link and everything, I did try to apply, but it didn't really go. I don't know why it went through or it didn't go through, so I didn't get anything from them again, and no feedback, nothing. So I was not a partaker of the fund.
Surviving COVID-19 series is brought to you in partnership with the Central Bank of Nigeria.
The Developing Aid Organization for Economic Cooperation (D8) member countries have indicated their readiness to support Nigeria's energy transition plan. Secretary General of D8, Isiaka Abdulkadir Imam, made this known when he received in audience some members of the Board of Directors of Nigerian Bulk Electricity Trading PLC (NBET), who visited Republic of Turkey to sign a partnership deal with Energy Exchange Istanbul Exist, a former Turkish energy firm, with a view to turn around the fortune of Nigerian power sector reform efforts for more improved performance. A statement from the press office of the D8 Organization for Economic Cooperation on Monday in Abuja, signed by Ilham Ulidak, said Imam applauded the bold initiative of the government of Nigeria for having thought it wise to enter into partnership with a former Turkish energy firm. Now, this week started on a downward trend for equities on the Nigerian stock market. At the close of trade this Monday, the oil share index depreciated by 0.1% to close at 49,991.41 points, as market capitalization also dropped to 26.964 trillion naira. Investors exchanged 200.9 million shares valued at 1.445 billion naira in 3,976 deals. And it is on that note that the market opened this morning. And away from home, shares in the Asia Pacific traded higher on Tuesday ahead of the Reserve Bank of Australia's rate decision. And Boste Abel has that report.
European markets climbed this Tuesday as investors remain on high alert for recession risks in the region. Shares in Asia Pacific traded mixed as Australia's central bank raised interest rates again. Japan's Nikkei 225 recovered from earlier losses to rise fractionally. The Hang Seng Index in Hong Kong rose 0.03%, and mainland China's Shanghai Composite added 1.36%. US stock futures rose early on Tuesday after the major averages capped their third straight week of losses. Futures tied to the Dow Jones Industrial Average gained 193 points. Nasdaq 100 futures rose 0.88%, and S&P 500 futures added 0.67%. Most markets in Africa are still maintaining previous figures, while South Africa's JSE Africa Top 40 and Namibia's overall index opened positive. Boss said Able, Business Express.
And this is where we end this episode of the program. Don't forget, you can access this episode and all previous ones on YouTube on the NTA's channel. You can also communicate with us via our various social media platforms. Business Express returns Wednesday by 3 p.m. I'm Leah Kating Babatunde saying, God bless Nigeria, and do have a very fruitful day.
NTA Tuesday Live, analytical, in-depth, educative and interactive on national issues, accommodating all sides of opinions.
We as a people have understood that we have to fight corruption before it fights us back.
Give it to the social investments program. It has been a very courageous battle.
Tuesday Live, every Tuesday at 10:30 p.m. Join us.
When you are fasting, you are trying to be closer to God. You are trying to tell God that, yes, I am your child.
I was commanded to obey my mother and worship God and to establish prayers. They are a place that when you come with reverence.
You should tell the believing women that they should lower their gaze and guard their modesty.
Until when we meet next time, same station and same time, my name is still Imam Adeyemi.
"24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can watch NTA International live on your TV, computer, iPad, tablet and phone. Log on visiontv.co.uk and click on Entertainment, then NTAI. You can also download the iOS or Android app on your mobile devices to watch NTA International on the go, anywhere in the world. NTA International, your window to the world.
Did you get to see the way telling about the post this? Don't forget to send in your messages.
There's a difference between picking, child, and is. That is cool. The idea that is and do more with less people.
If we have a better way of addressing these issues, taking care of.
Congratulations, you're able to sign to